Before we get into the meat of everything going on with baseball this week, it's been a hectic week in baseball, and we're going to try and jam it all in to about 30, 35 minutes. Um, this episode brought to you by our partner Chinook Seedery, Chinook. Go get your seeds using the Skipper's View as your discount code for 10% off sunflower seeds. Hagen, we've had the All-Star break. We've had Home Run Derby, the All-Star game. We had a celebrity softball game. We had the MLB draft this weekend. It's almost too much because it's like, why can't they spread out? I wish they moved the draft a little bit just so we could spread these out and really get to appreciate both with it, our full attention. But let's start off real quick. Let's start with the Home Run Derby. That happened Monday night. We know that Big Dumper took this one home. I thought the coolest stat of the night was O'Neal Cruz tying a non-Coors record with a 513-foot blast. There's only been 3 homers that have done that as well. Juan Soto in 2021 came at Coors, same with Trevor Story and Pete Alonso. They went 520, 518, and 514 respectively. Shohei Ohtani also hit 513 at Coors in 2021. So O'Neal Cruz's blast, this tied Aaron Judge's 2017 Miami for longest hit. It's kind of nuts what he did here. He didn't win, but the fact that he put the ball 513 feet is insane. 514 feet is insane. Sorry, 513. I was correct the first time. So Cal Raleigh, Home Run Derby champion, and now he announces that he'll join Team USA. Is Cal Raleigh just having the season among seasons right now? That's what it feels like.
I mean, he really is. I mean, he's one homer shy of Barry Bonds from breaking that record before the All-Star break. And goes into the All-Star break with winning the Home Run Derby. Played pretty good in the All-Star game. I think he can't play. He got robbed of a hit his first at-bat. Kyle Tucker made a great play on it. But he really is having a great season right now. I mean, Aaron Judge, he's pretty clearly the MVP in my eyes. I think most people would agree with that too, unless you're a Mariners fan. But the fact for how good Judge has been, arguably putting up, he still can get the greatest WAR of all time in a single season. It's Cal Raleigh's the talk of it, so that just shows how good he's been this year. And just one thing, too, on the Home Run Derby that I want to touch on is I know Cal Raleigh won it, and it was a cool story, too, especially there's a video of him as a kid where he said, I'm the Home Run Derby champ. Like, it was cool seeing all those videos, full circle moment for him. But O'Neal Cruz was the star of the show here at the Home Run Derby. I mean, he hit 8 of the 10 longest home runs in the Derby, and he hit 16 of the 18 hardest hit balls in the Home Run Derby. And it sucks with this format, too, because it's like there was the one where he hit 513. I think he hit 2 balls before it even landed, that one. So it's just so fast, you really can't appreciate these long home runs and these moonshots these guys were hitting. So it made me think a little bit different on this format. I do like them swinging far, but as a viewer, I think you want to see the guys where you actually want to see the ball land. You want to appreciate these balls because there was so many balls. It almost felt like more than since Derby, since Coors, where there was this many balls hit this far. It's like you didn't really get to appreciate them until the round was over.
Yeah. I ended up, by the way, last thing I'll talk about the Home Run Derby. Did you watch it on ESPN2 with the StatCast or did you? Yeah, same here. I thought that was the way better way to watch it. The worst thing about the Home Run Derby, probably Pat McAfee. I thought he announced it. It's just, he's not a baseball guy. You know what I mean? He treats it like it's a WWE event and trying to get everyone hyped up. But it's like, I don't know. It didn't hit for me. Were you a fan of McAfee? I do like McAfee. He's an Indiana guy. So, of course, I like McAfee. I just didn't like him for this event.
I do like McAfee, too. Like, I went to one of his shows live when he was out here in Utah. But I just didn't think the baseball thing fit him. I think probably the non-baseball fans probably would have enjoyed that. I haven't asked around and seen, but I think the baseball fans itself, it was kind of, what the hell is Pat McAfee doing here? He really only talks about baseball every once in a while, and what it is, it's when Passon's on there with him.
Yeah. Totally agree. So next day, we jump to the All-Star game. National League takes a 7-6 electric All-Star game. This was 6-0? And then it flipped to a 6-6 tie. The American League was able to pull back with a very impressive comeback. They weren't able to pull the full thing off, but this was an electric game. I guess, for me, I know it wasn't in play, but the coolest thing about what happened was they finally reverted to letting them wear their primary home and away jerseys again. Thank goodness, because the Home Run Derby jerseys were ugly, to say the least. And the players, it's just like, it's cool to wear the uniform that you earn the All-Star nod in. I don't, what do you think about the All-Star game? What were your final thoughts?
I really did like them going back to their old uniforms. I think the uniforms they were doing in the past, even the ones this year they wore in the Derby. I think there's a little too much in my sense. I don't think they're that cool, honestly. But so it is nice to see them just representing their team too. I mean, you want to see, hey, that's my guy representing my team here. But I thought the game was really good. I mean, obviously that 6-0 lead got out early. I don't think anyone expected Skubal to allow a run before he got an out, which was pretty crazy. And Mizorowski, who probably should have been in the game, he was fun to watch there. I mean, the top 5 fastest pitches of the night. And obviously the swing off too. I mean, that was the coolest thing ever. I know it was. I was talking to OC about it. I wish I would have seen a 10th inning there. Maybe even put the runner on third base to start the game, to start that inning. Although that would have been cool. But the swing off that just didn't disappoint at all. Obviously, Kyle Schwarber stole the MVP away from Pete Alonso there. You can blame Schwarber. You can blame Rondo, whatever you want to do if you're a Mets fan out there. But, I mean, that was a really cool ending to the game, especially just seeing all the guys on both teams out there, just almost like little kids out there in front of the dugout, just reacting to these guys. I mean, it's a swing off to win the All-Star game, which I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, and another thing about the jersey I forgot to mention, they've been wearing their jerseys from the 1930s all the way to 2019 before they decided to switch it up. It's like, if you had a good thing going, why pivot? This isn't, I don't know.
And
people are crazy. People get bored.
And I think the biggest takeaway, too, that I had from this whole All-Star weekend was that the MLB All-Star break is the best out of all the major sports in America. I mean, I don't think the Pro Bowl is pretty lame. Everyone agrees on that. Ever since the dunk contest has kind of gone downhill the last few years because it almost felt like everything's been done in that sense. And how can you do all these dunks that have been done? It's insane. 3-point contest is cool and all, but we all know the NBA All-Star game isn't fun to watch. So I think MLB's got the clear best All-Star break in all professional sports right now.
Oh, without a doubt. And like, we're on episode 200, so I'm going to stick to baseball. But I got into virtually a texting, shouting match with one of my best friends today where he was trying to compare, like, not basketball, but he's trying to compare NBA to the MLB. And I was like, we're not having this conversation. Like, it's not even close, the entertainment, what you get out of the MLB compared to the NBA at this point. Like, MLB's crushed it. People might not like certain things that are going on with the MLB, but overall, the league has done a flawless job in putting out a solid product. At least I would say the betterment of the last decade has been awesome. Just the talent level, the way they run things, the expansion of the playoffs, give an extra team, entry in there. It's been great for baseball. And they've handled the expansion of the playoffs particularly well, I think, not making it like the NCAA football where they're just like going from 4. Now they're looking at 12, maybe 16, whatever. It's like, no, it doesn't need to be that big. It needs to be exclusive still, but you need to open up the party to a few more guests. But we'll jump from there. So during this, they use the automatic ball or automated ball strike system, otherwise known as ABS. What were your thoughts, Hagen, on the ABS system and the strikeout call? Especially we saw that Skubal versus Machado challenge where Skubal got a strikeout on Machado after he challenged a pitch. What were your thoughts?
I mean, I liked it. I mean, I hate the full ABS system, but I love the challenge system, and it's seeming like that's going to be coming here in the next few years. Obviously, there's still some kinks to work out within it. I think it's still within about a half inch is still the radius they need to tone in on, and we talked about that before. But it was even cool too. Like, I mean, there was one later in the game with Edwin Diaz to Randy Rosarena, and he called the challenge, and even I was kind of like, I don't know about that. And they show, and it barely clipped the zone. It looked like the seam caught the zone. Just kind of a funny moment between those two because it was just, I mean, Edwin Diaz was kind of like, oh, that was pretty close. So it is cool to kind of see that in action and just see how the players react to it too.
Yeah. My freaking friend started calling me with a FaceTime there. So sorry about that. No, not to totally agree with your sentiment, but yeah, I think it was cool having the challenge call. I'm not for the full system. I do like the aspect and the element of having an umpire in a game. So I think that makes sense to keep the umps back there and be able to use the challenge system. Outside of that, that was my, All-Star weekend, fun again, home run derby. I would like them to work on the All-Star process a little bit more and the selection prior. how we do this because there's just certain guys who are getting in that shouldn't be in, and there are certain guys who are getting, the Francisco Lindors of the world the last 7 years have been shafted from this. So obviously got in this year, but want to see that process updated definitely more and more as we move forward. I want to jump though to the MLB draft. Um, did you get to watch day two at all, or were you big just day one guy? So because I was going to hone in on day one for now.
I was just tracking it on day two, obviously just looking at whatever Utah guys that were getting out there, and then also just people that I know, and then the Mets as well.
Yeah, yeah. So let's start with day one, pick one. A little bit of a surprise out there. So high school shortstop Eli Willits, taken by the Nationals, number one overall. He is the third youngest player ever drafted number one overall behind Ken Griffey Jr., who was 17 years old, 193 days, and back in 1987 when he was drafted. And then Tim Foley, who was just a little bit older, younger than Ken Griffey at the time. So we got this is a crazy pick. Like I've heard a couple guys like Kate Anderson who ended up going to Seattle. Mentioned at the 1-1 spot. I heard Ethan Holiday a bunch, and then I know we talked about some rumors about him commanding a larger portion of his slot value. What were your thoughts on Willits going number one to the Nationals?
It honestly kind of shocked me, and obviously I'm not a big draft guy. I just kind of rely on people who I just kind of more guy read the mocks and see that, but I don't think I saw anybody with Willits up there in even the top three, honestly, from what I saw. So it kind of shocked me a little bit, but then also too, you do wonder with the Nats making the GM change now, whatever that was a week ago at this point, when before they were inclined to draft all these Boris guys and pay them the high prices they were before, and now I mean you're taking a guy who's not the Boris. I think everyone thought it was going to be Kate Anderson was probably the pretty clear number one pick we thought it was going to be. Also, he's a Boris guy, so now he fell to 3. So him and the Angels weren't really willing to pay that price, and you could fit Holiday in that boat as well. They weren't really willing to pay it. But for me, the shock was obviously I think it was the shock of the entire draft was Bremner at 2. I think the Angels. I mean, at least Willits was mocked to be a very high pick. Obviously, Bremner was also a first round guy, but I don't think anybody had him top 2. And obviously, you have to see where the money goes after that. Obviously, I haven't followed the Angels draft thoroughly after that, and I'm not the biggest draft guy on being able to tell you what's good, what's not. But so it is interesting. I'm going to have to dive in deeper to see how the Angels navigate whatever their money on that aspect of it is and see did they get their money's worth by underslotting and going Bremner there and then spending well and getting some good talents, maybe the 3rd, 4th, 5th round.
Yeah. I did not look into the Angels either, just because I don't care about the I don't care about the Angels draft. Not to say like I haven't even deep dived into the Yankees draft yet. They didn't have a first round pick. And I was just like, all right, if they don't have a first round and if they were drafting late, I was like, I'm going to sit on this, like let the people who know what they're talking about when it comes to the draft, and I'm going to let them put together a synopsis of what they think, and then I'll read a few articles and gather my thoughts of how the Yankees did. I hope the Yankees get an impact bat, of course, and maybe a pitcher or two. But see,
I mean, they got
it's the Wild West.
From Utah.
Did they?
Shortstop Core Jackson out of Utah in 5th round.
Is he from the state of Utah, or did he go to Utah, like University of Utah?
University of Utah. He's a Canadian kid.
Any good?
Yeah, I mean, he hits pretty well. I mean, I wasn't able to watch him live in person at all, but everything I've seen, I mean, even just watching his stats throughout the year, he hits pretty well.
Is this the beginning of the end for Anthony Volpe, or has Volpe's play already earned him the beginning of the end before this draft pick? He's been bad.
He has been bad, and I think it's a whole other conversation we could dive into on another episode on how Volpe's been this year.
Yeah, for sure. So Ethan Holiday, it was cool to see him go to the Rockies, Dad's former team. The Rockies, obviously, they're going to pay up for the slot value here. Were there any other picks that you wanted to discuss in particular? I'm assuming first round. There were 2, maybe 3 for me that I really liked, and I'll just call out Jace Laviolette. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. How do you say that last name?
Laviolette.
It's a tough name. So he out of Texas A&M went to the Guardians. I think that's super interesting. He's a 6'6", 230-pound outfielder. Gage Wood to the Phillies. going. That's pretty solid. Obviously we know Wheeler already has his like retirement plan. So maybe, this is the next big arm for the Phillies outside of Andrew Painter. And then I really did like where was the third guy? Jamie Arnold to the Athletics. Florida State boy. Love seeing that him go. He's a lefty, 6'1", 190 pounds, was really good at Florida State. The Athletics, they always do. They're like low key. I feel like they develop talent like no other. It's just we don't talk about them because we never get to see them reap the benefits of the talent they produce because they ship it off before it's ready to, put together a full team and pay these guys. So, anyone else that you really liked out of the first round?
I'll just stick pretty basic here. I think just Cade Anderson falling to 3 and the Mariners having him fall in their laps there. I mean, this is a guy, we were just talking last night with a few people, just might be one of him or Doyle's probably going to be the first guy to make the big leagues out of this squad. I mean, Anderson, it just depends on how quick do you want to call him up. Do you want to add a few things or not? But I thought that was good, especially because it kind of fits their window too. I mean, you could probably trade Castillo now, at least next year. I'm not saying at the deadline this year, but slide him in the rotation as early as next year if you wanted to, if everything goes well. But I thought that was good. I mean, especially too where Seattle's not only known for left-handed pitching. I mean, they have this great rotation every year the last few years, but it's never really been a lefty since I guess Robbie Ray was the only one. And I don't know if I can name an impact left-handed starter for the Mariners before Robbie Ray.
Yeah. No, good call out. Good call out. So we'll jump from the draft. A couple big things happen here with career accolades right before the break. So we got Manny Machado, Mike Trout, and Aaron Judge doing really cool things. Let's start with Manny Machado. He's now at 2,000 career hits. He's entered Hall of Fame company specifically because only 11 players in MLB history have had reached 350 home runs and 2,000 hits before in their age 32 season or earlier. So out of those 11 guys, 8 of them are Hall of Famers. That's Hank Aaron, which, by the way, they did an awesome tribute to Hank Aaron during the All-Star game. I thought that was great. Jimmy Fox, Lou Gehrig, Ken Griffey Jr., Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Mel Ott, and Frank Robinson. The other 3 are Miguel Cabrera, Pujols, and A-Rod. So 2 of them will be in the Hall of Fame soon enough, and one of them is never getting in ever, even though, his stats would say otherwise that he should be in. So Manny Machado on his way to Cooperstown, I think when it's all said and done, especially if he doesn't have a title, right? No, he does not have a title.
I don't believe so, no.
If the Padres are able to pull one off, maybe, who knows? I think that would surely lock him in because he's just going to keep counting in the hits department. And he's only 32. Maybe he has 2, 3, maybe even 4 more years of like solid baseball, not necessarily Manny Machado baseball, but solid baseball ahead of him. Mike Trout, your guy, actually my guy too. We both love Trout. Who doesn't love Trout? 395 career home runs. He's now approaching 400. Hagen, do you know how many people have hit 400 or more home runs?
16?
No, it's a little bit less exclusive than you think.
What is it?
It's not triple digits. I'll say that. It's about 60 guys total. We're looking at the standings right now. A couple of guys are tied here, but Mike Trout right now, he's 63rd overall on the list, right? In a couple home runs, he's going to really jump. Obviously, once he crosses that threshold into 400, he could really climb over the next 2 years because he can go from 63rd to top 40 if he gets 452 and he would beat Yastrzemski. So Mike Trout's doing, we know who Mike Trout is. We know he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think we talk about Mike Trout as a power hitter as often as we talk about being an overall player. What does 400 home runs mean to you, like for Mike Trout's legacy?
I would say just typically, I think if you got 400 home runs, I'd say you were a very good player for a very long time. And that's been Trout's case too, but he hasn't really had the health. So I think it shows more the importance of how good he's been when he's been on the field. I mean, I know he's had technically a down year this year, and he's hit 238 with an 836 OPS, which obviously you want to see Trout on the field. That's the main thing, but I don't think anyone thought it'd be that low of an OPS this year. But he still has to have power this year. He's still expected stats saying he's getting pretty unlucky this year, but he's sold out to the power lately. I think he still holds the longest home run in all of baseball this year. And his max exit velocity, This is the highest we've seen from him since 2021. So the power's still there. The power's not dropped off at all. And he's still a great player. And I think that the stats aren't really showing him. He's obviously a little bit unlucky, but I mean, 400 home runs to me, that means that you're the Hall of Famer. It obviously depends the rest of your game and all that stuff. But I just think it's a cool milestone to see these guys hit because you know how long a guy has to play to hit these numbers. You don't see them hit very often. I know you said there was around the 60-something guys, but even if you take the aspect of how many guys have played in Major League Baseball, I think it's just under 20,000. That's only 60 dudes out of 20,000. That is pretty elite company. We think of it in that aspect.
It's probably like top 1, if not 0.5%. Not even better than 0.5%. Like, it's that elite of company, though, still at the top. And if you looked at all those guys, do you know how many of them are Hall of Famers or should be Hall of Famers if they didn't use steroids? Most likely all of them. Like, we can go through the list on a different episode, but we do got to talk because there's another guy creeping up on this list, and that's Aaron Judge. 350 career bombs now. And the crazy thing about Judgy is this was, the home run was his 34th of the season. So it broke the Yankee franchise record for most home runs before the All-Star break, which is insane to think about. The Yankee all-time record for most home runs in the season, like before the All-Star break. I know the All-Star break hasn't been around as long as the Yankees franchise or what have you, but still, that is another, let's call it accolade for Judge in his claim of, Yankee greatness here. And then the fewest career games to 350 now is owned by Judge. So Aaron Judge has done it in 1,088 games. The next closest was Mark McGwire with 1,280. So almost a 200 game difference. It's a season and a quarter, maybe even a season and a half. And the other guys on that list that are close: Juan Gonzalez, A-Rod, Harmon Killebrew, Albert Pujols. This is insane. And Judge, he's going to catch Trout here rather than later. Like, it's insane to think about. And like Judge, staring at this list, there's a real shot that Judge can get to 600 career home runs. Like, you think about that, 250 more home runs over the next 5 to 7 years. And I think he'll be around until he's about 38, 39, the way he's been playing. So it's crazy where he can end up for such a late career start. You have any takeaway on Judge?
I mean, I think I like how you brought up the Trout thing, how you can catch him, because Judge debuted in 16, started playing in 17, really. And Trout debuted in 2011. So he had a 5-year head start on him. That just shows that. And we were talking about, too, like Trout, like it's not like even when he's been on the field, he's obviously been phenomenal. He's 29th all-time in F4. It's almost close to 100 there. But it just shows how good Judge has been when he's on the field. I know he's at the end of his career, even if he hits 600, let's say he hits 580, somewhere around there, he's still not going to have like the hits and stuff like that to be considered like an all-time great if you look at just full body work. But Aaron Judge has been, I mean, we were watching, they said on the broadcast the other day where it was just between Ohtani and Judge. We're watching two of the best players in Major League Baseball history right now, and in both leagues too. I mean, it's honestly insane. I mean, I already put Judge up there I already say that he's the best hitter since Barry Bonds since he retired. I think he's already put him in the conversations of the best right-handed hitters of all time, especially if you take out those steroid guys in there. And I normally include those steroid guys, but if you just take just clean hitters who haven't done anything, Judge is going to be up there for the top, 5'10", just at their peak hitter ever.
Dude, it's unreal. It's unreal. And like, that's why I told my buddy earlier, bring that conversation back up about basketball or in the NFL right now. Is there anyone that is going to go down in the NFL as the greatest of all time in their position? Like, think about it. Probably not. Tom Brady's retired now. There's no one close to catching him. Running back wise, probably not. The best defensive player of all time probably just retired, Aaron Donald, or he's up there. Hockey, at least, what's his name on the Capitals? I always forget. Ovechkin. Yeah, Ovechkin. Yeah, he's the greatest of all time material. Basketball, LeBron's kind of on the outskirts, and I don't consider Kevin Durant anywhere close, and then I actually don't consider anyone else close to LeBron in the league. I don't care. Don't at me on that. I'll get at you with that.
I mean, it's a LeBron MJ 1A 1B thing.
Exactly. And like baseball, you have two guys who you can argue are the best talents that we've ever seen in the game. And the crazy thing is they are putting up ridiculous numbers to climb those top lists. They might not ascend to be the top all-time like home runs or hits or whatever, but like across the board, their numbers are just they're absurd. They are absurd with Judge and Otani.
Oh, for sure. And I think I like that how you brought into other sports too, because I think baseball is at least in basketball, football, hockey, and baseball here. I don't. Baseball is the only sport that you can say the best player to ever play the game is currently playing in Shohei Ohtani. Like baseball is in such a good spot. I think I've already been saying this for a couple of years now. I think it's just going to grow even more as Shohei's career goes on. But he's the most talented player to ever take up a baseball and play Major League Baseball. It's the stuff he's doing has not been done since Babe Ruth, and he's already cleared Babe Ruth and a lot of stuff pitching wise.
Yeah.
And Babe Ruth wasn't throwing 100 miles an hour either.
And he wasn't versing batters like Aaron Judge. Like that's the difference. Shohei Ohtani closed out a World Baseball Classic, striking out his teammate at the time and future Hall of Famer who we just spent 20 minutes talking about with Mike Trout. Not actually 20 minutes, but you know what I mean? Like Shohei was versing better players and has been. So let's go to the news and notes a little bit. We have a lot to go through. I'm going to try and trim it down to what's essential and what's not. So Yankees, couple things that happened to them right before the break. DJ LeMahieu got DFA'd. He's still owed $22 million. It was time. I'm not going to dwell on that conversation. It was time. They also announced Mark Leiter Jr. He's been put on the 15-day out with a stress fracture in his left leg. The Red Sox, they had two news and notes here. Yoshida was activated from the 60-day IL after right shoulder surgery during the offseason. But they also had Hunter Dobbins tear his ACL, and he will miss the rest of the 2025 season. So not so bueno. Gary Sanchez, he's now expected to miss 8 weeks for the Baltimore Orioles. His right knee sprain is worse than initially thought. And Adley Rutschman is still, not here. He's a ways away from returning. Stallings is going to get most of the catching responsibilities down Baltimore. Baltimore also traded. Hey, what do you think about this trade? Brian Baker to the Rays in exchange for the 37th pick in the competitive balance round of this year's draft. And I will pull up the draft, who they actually took. But what do you think about Baker going to the Rays?
I haven't dove that deep into the trade, but I honestly, I don't know how you would value the pick. I'm not the best at how you would value that and what you should get in return of that aspect. But obviously, if you're trading with the Rays and you're trading him a reliever, I think you have to give the Rays the benefit of the doubt usually, just because, Brian Baker's already been really good. He has really good stuff. But, even to the Rays, they needed that bullpen help. They didn't have that many. We've seen a lot of bullpen implosions from them late in the year, which is kind of surprising for Tampa Bay because